You know, there is so much that we have been conditioned to believe that success is what makes us worthy, that productivity or popularity or attractiveness or being likable, that these things are what make us worthy. And what if instead your worth isn't something that you can earn? What if your worth isn't something that you can find out there? What if your worth is something that you already have within you right now in this moment, no matter what you look like, no matter what you've done, no matter what you haven't done, no matter where you are in life, no matter what's going on around you? You were born worthy, and nothing you do can increase or decrease that core truth about yourself. I'm going to read you a quote from a book called The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown, and then I'm going to break down why this really matters for us. She says, "When we attempt to shield ourselves from the pain of rejection or abandonment, we inadvertently teach ourselves that we are only worthy or valuable when we perform, behave, look, or sound a certain way." And the piece that really has stuck with me as I've sat with this over the last few days is that part where she talks about being worthy or valuable. When we perform or behave or look or sound a certain way, that is something that so many of us have been taught when we were little children. Maybe it was even before we were old enough to understand that we were being taught. There were expectations placed upon us, whether it was from our parents, from other family members, from teachers, from peers, from society at large. There were expectations placed upon us, and we began equating those expectations with our worth. And as we grew up, we internalized messages like don't make mistakes, be better than everyone else, work harder than everyone else, look better than everyone else, say the right things, don't say anything at all because you don't want to offend anyone, don't feel anything too deeply because then you might hurt. And so many of us have grown up learning to walk on eggshells around others and around ourselves. And as we've walked on eggshells, we've forgotten that we were ever meant to run free. And so when we forget our worth, what happens? We go out into the world looking for that validation. We may stay in jobs too long, or we may take on too many jobs, or we may overextend ourselves in relationships or friendships or partnerships. Or we may try to keep up with people who don't even care about keeping up with us. We may compare ourselves to other people. We may look to accomplishments or numbers or metrics to prove our worth. We do all these things, and none of them actually help us. None of them actually bring us any closer to that core truth of our worthiness. So let's come back to ourselves. Let's return home. Let's return to ourselves. Let's get to know ourselves again. And I don't mean that we need to become someone else in order to find our worth. I mean that we need to peel away all the layers that have been added onto us. We need to quiet the inner critic. We need to turn off the news and social media that compares us to everyone else. We need to stop looking at other people's Instagram feeds and believing that their highlight reels are the same as our everyday life. We need to unlearn all of the lies that have been told to us so that we can remember the truth that we are worthy just as we are. We are worthy when we accomplish, and when we don't accomplish. We are worthy when we mess up and when we do it perfectly. We are worthy when we show up and when we don't show up. We are worthy when we're happy and when we're sad. We are worthy when we're working hard and when we're resting. We are worthy when we don't know something and when we know everything. We are worthy when we have all of our shit together and when our shit is falling apart around us. We are worthy when we're grieving and when we're healed. We are worthy when we're unsure and when we know exactly what we want. We are worthy when we fall and when we get back up. We are worthy when we reach the top of the mountain and when we're sitting in the valley. This isn't a feeling. This is a truth. This is an absolute truth that you hold inside of you right now. And I know that doesn't make it easy. I know that there are times in your life where it feels very far from the truth. I know that you've probably spent years trying to convince yourself otherwise. I know that you've probably spent years trying to earn this truth. I know that you've probably spent years looking for this truth outside of yourself. But that's not where it is. That's not where it's ever been. It's always been inside of you. And this is a radical idea. This is an uncomfortable idea because we've been conditioned to believe that if we are valuable, it must be because of something we did. And what if it wasn't because of anything you did or didn't do? What if it was simply because you exist? As spiritual teacher and author Marianne Williamson wrote, "You can't really know how much you matter until you truly understand it has nothing to do with what you do or don't do." So when you understand that your worth isn't tied to your to-do list, then you can finally stop checking things off of your list. And you can finally stop beating yourself up for not getting it all done. Returning to ourselves means allowing ourselves to be human. It means allowing ourselves to make mistakes and screw up. It means allowing ourselves to feel grief and anger and frustration and sadness and despair and hopelessness and fear. It also means allowing ourselves to feel happiness and joy and peace and contentment and satisfaction and pride. It means experiencing the full spectrum of what it is to be alive. It means allowing ourselves to be both the light and the dark, the shadow and the self, the good and the bad, the ugly and the beautiful. It means accepting all of ourselves. It means loving all of ourselves. This is why self-love can feel so challenging, because it requires us to accept all of ourselves. It requires us to accept the parts that we hate about ourselves. It requires us to accept the parts that we're ashamed of or disgusted by or afraid of. And when we learn to do that, when we learn to accept all of ourselves, that's when we can finally start speaking kindly to ourselves. Because speaking kindly to ourselves isn't ego, it's remembrance. It's a return to truth. It's a return to who we were always meant to be. Brené Brown writes, "The more that we speak kindly to ourselves, the less that we need to speak badly of others." And I love that. And I love that because I think that when we speak kindly to ourselves, we stop looking for the bad in other people. We stop looking for people to blame or criticize or compare ourselves to. We stop looking for reasons that other people aren't enough, and we realize that they are enough just as they are. And that goes for you too. You are enough just as you are, and you will never not be enough. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.